the more we remain connected to our core, the more we then can practice the second step, which is to think about and to acknowledge and to feel the divine essence, the core in others. To not just relate to their immediate and apparent expression. To see not just that. To not just see whether the person is a beggar or a billionaire, is a saint or a so-called sinner, but to look deeper and see the essence of the entity, of the person before you. When we do the yogic greeting of namaskar, that is what we do. We do namaskar, and it means I greet your innermost self with all my mind and all my heart. You might be a professor, you might be a president, you might be a little child, you might be anything, but I endeavor to recognize your essence, the divine in you. That helps so much in benevolent communication. Say, for example, someone is coming to you and is abusing you, criticizing you, maybe even lying at you, and you know this person is lying. So if you just relate to that expression, to the lying, to the liar, you will respond in a certain way. You will simply respond to the lying. But if you recognize that there's a deeper essence behind that person has not always been a liar. That person may lie at this moment. This person may be using insulting words to me at this moment, but not when he was 5 years old or 4 years old. And perhaps tomorrow this person is ready to sacrifice a lot of his time and energy for me. There's something else, there's an essence that I at least recognize. It does not mean that I deny that the person is trying to lie at me or cheat me or insult me. I'm not denying it. But I'm recognizing that that is not the deeper truth of this person. I confirm the complete potential, the divinity of that person. And when I endeavor to do that, that is beneficial to benevolent communication. Then I can relate to a deeper aspect of that person. So the first step is to remain connected to one's own core, to one's own divine self. The second step is to endeavor to think about, to acknowledge the core, the soul, the essence in the person that I'm communicating with, the entity that I'm communicating with. And then the next step of communication is, on the basis of remaining connected to that essence within me and within the other person, I then endeavor to just observe the situation, what is happening, what are the actions that are being done, what are the feelings behind a person's communication, for example, what are the needs behind those feelings. I observe How do I observe? By just paying attention, by watching, and by listening. Just listening. Listening, ideally, selflessly, without ego, without immediately, putting my own judgment, my own interpretation. No, just listening. Listening to what, say for example, the person says. Listening to the person's words, endeavoring to observe the person, the feeling behind those words, and perhaps endeavoring to connect to the needs behind those words, and just pay attention to that. Without thinking, oh, this is just so stupid what this guy is thinking, and why would someone feel like this? And this would be like interpreting, putting your own ego there. That will not be helpful for benevolent communication. So, observing ideally selflessly, without ego, with empathy. That means actually not only recognizing the divine in the other person, but also acknowledging the divine in the expression of the other person. Say for example the lie, or say for example the emotional expression, whatever it is, to recognize that that is also an expression of the universe, and I first of all, let me just accept it as an expression of the universe. And so, after accepting it as an expression of the universe, then I need to discern. Then I need to discern what is the best way to respond to that expression. What is the best way to answer to the person, to respond to that person? And so that is the step. First of all, the endeavor to remain connected to your core, which is always benevolent, which is always in a state of inner peace and bliss. Secondarily, your endeavor to recognize and acknowledge that core in others, in the person that you're communicating with. Thirdly, then observing with an open mind what is happening, what are the actions going on, what are the words, what are the feelings behind, what are the needs, what's happening, simply what exactly is happening. And that requires a selfless observation, not a biased observation, but just a selfless receiving, to receive the expression of others selflessly, accepting the expression as an expression of the divine as well.